Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. Glad that you are with us this fantastic and absolutely amazing Tuesday morning. Again, so good to be here. So good to be in the chair. Golly, I love being in the chair. Chair is super comfortable. The chair that my son bought me for Christmas, and we just refurbished it. You know, you ever have one of these office chairs and the hydraulic thing sinks down and doesn't lift up? And what do we do normally? We don't normally throw them away, right? Don't throw them away. They can be repaired, and they can be repaired past and beyond their original glory. And that's what we've done to this chair. And it is, oh, yeah, man, good stuff. Absolutely good stuff. So anyway, anyway, again, thank you again for tuning into the morning report. Lots of stuff to talk about because there's always stuff to talk about. It never freaking stops. That's the amazing part, man. It never freaking stops. It's always something happening. Let's see here. We're going to talk about what the chair of the Republican Party is having people do at the Republican debates, which has got some controversy, and I'm not sure why. Air quotes, everybody, controversy. I don't know why such controversy, but we're going to talk about it for sure. Um, there is this interview that Mark Levin did with my governor Ron DeSantis. That's something that we should pay a little bit of attention to. The parental rights group exposes a school district for hiding students' gender transitions from parents. This is exactly the kind of thing that we're talking about. Um, when they're not even hiding that they don't believe that your children belong to you. I mean, they don't even hide that your children, they don't believe your children belong to you. They believe that your children belong to the collective. Joy Reid said this on her program about 5 years ago. And everybody just kind of went, ah. The thing is that they are meaning exactly what they say. They are and saying exactly what they mean. If I could get conservatives to do that, I mean, forget Republicans. If I can get conservatives to do that, to actually mean what you say and act on it, this would be a very, very different situation. Everything would be very, very different. Very different. All right, we're going to go a break. We're back with more of the program right after these messages. So, is it okay now? Because it was, I mean, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's.
Yeah, we talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy mental health.
The president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They told they're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president, or were you five?
You see what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I mean, I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
Hey, welcome back again. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. Listen, everybody knows that the Republican Party isn't all holding hands and singing Kumbaya. That was evident. It took 120 votes. Didn't take 120, but it took a bunch of votes to pick Kevin McCarthy, on Republican from California, to be Speaker of the House. There was a contingent that was just saying absolutely not, even to the very end. It took 15 votes, I remember, to finally clinch it after a whole bunch of concessions. About a group of about 20 conservatives held things up for almost a week, almost 2 weeks. But that wasn't the only battle that's taken place recently. The fight for the chair of the Republican National Committee between Ronna McDaniel and Harmet Dillon was also contentious. Now McDaniel is looking to tamp down on even more division forming within the party, doing what will no doubt be a wild campaign for the GOP nomination, especially now that President Trump is in the story. And what we know is when Trump is in the story, it's going to be contentious. That's his calling card. Contention is his calling card. So if Republican candidates want to participate in the GOP's first primary debate in Milwaukee, which will be held in August, nearly a year before the RNC convention, they must agree to sign a pledge promising that they will eventually throw their support behind whoever ends up winning the Republican nomination. So, if they want to be in this first primary debate, that's a year before the convention, a year. They've got to, they have to say that they're going to have to write down and say that they're going to support whoever the Republican nominee for president is. Here's what she says. We're saying you're not going to get on the debate stage unless you take the pledge, McDaniel told CNN Dana Bash and the State of the Union, noting that the GOP voters are tired of the infighting. I'm going to do a TikTok live about infighting. And, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. I mean, to pound your chest and do these and do all this infighting when basically you agree with the people that you're infighting with 80% of the time seems selfish and egotistical. And despite former President Donald Trump saying his support would be contingent on who the nominee is, the RNC chair said she thinks he'll sign on. Well, that's interesting, Ronna, because he didn't before and said so. And that caused a big stir. Because she says, I think they all want to be on the debate stage. I think President Trump would like to be on the debate stage, and that's why he's and that's what he likes to do. And I expect that they will all be there. Here's what's going to happen. Only the fringe candidates are going to be on the debate stage. You're going to see Nikki Haley there. You're going to see Marianne Williamson. It's going to be a group of D-listers on the debate stage. People who aren't going to win the nomination anyway, who aren't going to get close to winning the nomination on the debate stage in August, a year away from the convention. Not even a year away from the election, but a year away from the convention. So much is going to happen between now and then. So I think she's wrong. But should there be a loyalty pledge? Now, here's the deal. The Republican Party is a club, a group, an entity. that can set their own rules. If you join the Moose Lodge, you sign up to be a moose in the Royal Order of Mooses. Mises, mouses, moose, elks, same thing. It's fraternal order. They can make their own rules. As long as their rules don't break the law, they can set their own rules. The Republican Party can set their own rules. They can set their own rules. Like it or not, Ronna McDaniel is the chair. And if she decides that in order to get on the debate stage, people have to promise that they will support the nominee, now that she has no way to enforce this once it happens, other than embarrassment, shame, and infighting when attempting to stop the infighting. But if she wants to, and if the people who sign it agree to it, all right then. I don't think there'll be many people there this time, especially this early. But if they want to, that's fine. That's fine. Now, in the subsequent debates, will the same rules apply? My guess is probably not. We have Trump, Nikki Haley, Marianne Williamson, and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. And nobody cares. Trump wipes the floor with all of them. So it doesn't really mean anything. It's more movement for movement's sake. We'll see. We'll take a short break. We're back right after these messages. Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet. And you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right. They most certainly are. But you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those places is freedomforum.website. freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why My Florist is not a website or phone number. My Florist is Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-986-5300. 933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com, and you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Welcome back. Last year, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott introduced legislation that would prevent schools from hiding information about a student's gender identity from their parents. About the same time, the governor here was doing the same thing. This came after school districts in Virginia and California were exposed for concealing this information from parents. The legislation would withhold federal funding from schools that allow students to change their preferred pronouns, gender markers, and school documentation and sex-based accommodations at school. The law in the United States has long recognized the importance of parental rights. A parent's right to oversee the care and education of their child is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment. The bill reads, parents have a fundamental, constitutionally guaranteed right to raise and educate their children in the way they choose. Public schools across the country are violating these fundamental parental and familial rights by deliberately hiding information about gender transitioning from their parents. And continue. Schools across the country have moved forward with policies that allow students to transition unbeknownst to their parents. This month, documents obtained by parental rights organization Parents Defending Education found that the staff at Wichita Public Schools in Kansas are providing students with a, quote, gender support plan that allows students to keep their gender identity a secret from their parents. According to the documents obtained by PDE and provided to Town Hall, their gender support plans asked, are the guardians of this students aware and supportive of their child's gender transition? In addition, the form asks how public or private will information about the student's gender be? And questions who the students go to adult at school will be to discuss the gender identity, their gender identity. In the list of questions, it asks which restrooms and other facilities the students will use on field trips and in other activities. Under the doctrine of in loco parentis, schools are delegated some measure of authority over children during the course of the school day. That's like the teacher is sort of the parent in absentia, right? However, this certainly does not mean that public school officials replace or supplant the role of the family, which sadly, far too many taxpayer-funded educators seem to have forgotten. We'll talk about this in a second. To undermine parents' rights to direct the upbringing of their children is not only immoral, but illegal. Nikki Neely, president of Parents Defending Education, told Town Hall. Now, listen. This idea teachers being parents in absentia only works if the teachers have the same or similar moral and spiritual guidelines as the parents. Now, when I say parent in absentia, that means I'm going to be you when you're not here. You guys know that I teach saxophone, flute, and clarinet, and I tell my students' parents a lot of times, I'm going to be you, especially if I have high school students. I'm going to be you in absentia. I'm going to be dad. I'm going to be telling your kid what you would tell them. If they bring something to me, I want to be telling them what you are going to be telling them. I'm going to be you. I'm not going to be me because this is not my kid. This is your kid. I'm just here to help you, the parent, with the raising of your kid. I'm not here to raise your kid. I'll tell you why not. And here's the thing that these teachers ignore. When kids are under that sort of stress and strain, no matter how it got there, it usually gets there through some societal BS. When they're under that kind of strain, anything can happen, up and including suicide. And what you don't, seems like to me, what you don't want to be involved with is a kid that decides to kill themselves or hurt themselves in some way, and you were participating. You somehow were participating. You decided to step out of your role as a teacher. The school sort of step out of their role as in educating in math, social studies, science. That you decided to do something else. You decided to play parent, and this kid still ended up killing themselves or hurting themselves in some way. And then you want to back off, like hands off, hands up, like I didn't do anything. I was just trying to help the kid. Yeah, and then she jumped off a bridge, or then she stepped out in front of a train, or she took too many pills, or he blew his brains out. You don't have the right to interfere in the parenting of someone else's child. You do not have the right. And I know a lot of you young teachers get out there and want to change the whole damn world. You do not have the right to interfere in the parenting of a child that is not yours. I don't care what your degree says, what your degree is. I don't give a rat's ass what that is. You do not have the right to interfere in the raising of somebody else's kid. You don't. You don't. So if they sue you, good. And if they sue you, you better hope that that's the only thing they do to you. You better hope that's as bad as it gets. You better hope that losing your job is as bad as it gets. Because some people you're going to interfere in their family, and it's going to be worse than that. So, according to documents, a presentation used to train staff about LGBTQ plus students at WPS at the Wichita Public Schools in Kansas makes the argument that using a student's preferred name instead of their legal name will reduce depression and thoughts of suicide in transgender youth. But what if they are wrong? I tell kids all the time, I'm going to call you what your mama called you. I'm going to call you what your mother calls you. Your chorus teacher is not, and I use chorus as an example, your chorus teacher is not trained for what this child is going through. I'm going to call you by your legal name. I'm not going to call you by your nickname. I'm not going to call you Pookie. I'm not going to call you Big Cheese. I'm just making that up. Instead of calling you Pookie, I'm going to call you Jonathan. And Big Cheese, I'm going to call you Jessica. And the presentation claims that WPS has an estimated 340 plus staff members that identify as LGBTQ plus, including over 100 that identify as transgender. It also claims that WPS has 250 students that identify as transgender and that 80% report being harassed for it. What is harassed? Someone saying something. Because we are at a juncture in our society that simply mentioning the fact, oh, so you're trans. What is that? That's harassment. If I don't hug you and carry your flag, now I talked about this years ago. If I don't carry your flag, lead your parade, somehow I hate you. No, and that's stupid, and we got to avoid stupidity. PDE pointed out that this means that about 0.7% of students identify as transgender, as well as 1.8% of the staff. Last year, a study conducted by UCLA's Williams Institute says that 0.5% of all American adults, 1.3 million, and about 300,000 youth from 13 to 17 now identify as transgender. And recent reports have indicated that the number has increased. And it will increase and decrease because it is a fad. It is a fad. It is something that kids are doing because it's being encouraged by other kids and some adults. And now doctors. If your kid says that they're trans, then the only solution is to follow the gender affirming policies that says, okay, so little girl, you believe you're a little boy. Okay, then you're a little boy. If they said, mommy, I'm a panda bear, treat me like a panda bear, put me in a cage at night, feed me eucalyptus leaves. I only want to eat eucalyptus leaves, which are poisonous, by the way. Would you do it? Or would you get your kid to friggin' help? You should get your kids some friggin' help. And if you went to the doctor and the doctor said, yeah, your kid's definitely a panda. I have some eucalyptus leaves in my desk drawer. I'll be right back. Would you go along with it? Of course not, because that's stupid and dangerous. My name is William Lawson. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. You are a true blue conservative. Small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Blooming Days Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com. And you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. Hi, my name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report, a production of Fightback Media, fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We appreciate you being here. Listen, I hate to even talk about this stuff because we are so far away from it. And what we're not doing in the meantime is we're not paying attention to the heinous government that is right in our face every day, because they've got us, myself included, sometimes focused on stuff that hasn't happened yet or stuff that may not even happen. But we are focused on it. So I'm going to get into it for a little bit. Let's talk about let's go ahead and talk about our friend Ron DeSantis. On Sunday night, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis appeared on Life, Liberty, and Levin on Fox News purportedly to promote his new book, The Courage to Be Free, which comes out this week, and we will be getting a copy of it for sure. While DeSantis has not yet declared that he's running for president, he certainly sounded like a man who's making the case for his candidacy, or if not, making a case for conservatism as a path to America's success and prosperity. The subtitle of the book is Florida's Blueprint for America's Revival. The governor is going into enemy territory and holding press conferences telling people how Florida is doing it, which is admirable thing, because what most Republicans do, they'll only go to places that are going to be receptive of the message. They're only going to go where they could have a big rally and everybody could cheer and say yes and go and we love you, as opposed to going into places like New York, Chicago, San Francisco, going into the lion's den, so to speak, and spouting the policies that has made Florida free and kept Florida free and continues to move forward. Whatever you think about Governor DeSantis, I know that some of you think that he's a swamp creature, although that on its face is just ate up with a dumbass. But all he's done and shown time and time again is that he's gone up against the left and won. Every time there was an executive order during it, it was backed up with legislation, because Ron DeSantis realizes that he has the advantage of the legislature, so there needs to be legislation. It can't just be a series of edicts from the governor's mansion if it's not going to be backed up by legislation. And he's been able to do that. It wasn't just edicts that pushed Disney back. Now, that's something that is a thing. It isn't just Disneyland. People, the left always tries to denigrate this whole thing. Fighting Mickey Mouse. Walt Disney is one of the largest media conglomerates in the world, and perhaps best known for the Walt Disney Studios, a wide-ranging film division including Disney, Pixar, Marvel. Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilms, and other high-earning production firms. The company's holdings also include TV networks like ABC, ESPN, and Freeform. Are you kidding me? There's a bunch of them. There is a bunch of them, kid. The Disney universe is massive. So when we talk about What does Disney own? Worldwide special events, Touchstone Pictures, Walt Disney Studio Marketing, Lucasfilm, Lucas Online, Lucas Animation, Skywalker Sound, Disney Stores, Disney Mobile, Disney Marketing. I'm just Disneyland, of course, Disneyland, Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel, Disney California Adventure, Downtown Disney, Disney Hotels, the ABC Worldwide Family, the Walt Disney Company Limited in Japan, this Disney Channel, Disney Junior, O Life, yeah, D Life, Disney XD, Disney Simographic, uh, Hungama TV, uh, Steamboat Adventures, Photo Bucket, GoPro, Freewheel, Edgecast, Scrapback, Game Salad, Gay Stripe, Platinum, a whole bunch of Chinese holding, the Buena Vista Construction Company, the Reedy Creek Improvement District. Except that, not anymore. All the ESPN networks, ESPN on ABC, ESPN Classic, ESPN pay per view, ESPN Films, ESPN Now, all the ESPN, all Disney Junior. All the History Channel. Disney owns the damn History Channel and Lifetime, A&E. So it isn't just that Ron DeSantis took on Mickey Mouse in Disneyland. He took on a large, influential power, international power, and so far won. Now, as you can tell, the Reedy Creek Improvement District is a small part of Disney World here in Florida. So when we talk about the importance of Disney in this, probably not everything, but it meant something because Disney got involved in Florida politics, and this dude said, no. When he told Bob Chapek in his book, he says, told Bob, hey, listen, just ignore it. It's just fake outrage. It's going to go for 48 hours and then end up nothing. And mostly of it's online. Although Chapek said this feels different. It felt different because he was under the pressure anyway. So when Ron DeSantis goes up against Disney, he's not just going up against the mouse. He's going up against the mouse and the mouse house, which is large and spread out and powerful. And he won. And he won. I don't know. And you have to write in the comments if you think that, you know, Donald Trump had any kind of similar victory. He did become the president of the United States. Pretty big victory. Other than that bit of winning, what can we look to? We got to have this conversation. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, and I know this isn't helping, but we have to have this conversation. So let's get our wits about us. Write down in the comments what you think, and we will see you tomorrow here on the Morning Report. Till we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye bye now.